So a number of plans for the enclosure, the ecosystem. I know it seems slow going, or I'm financially strapped. I did have a tattoo done that was 450 total. They knocked £50 off that, so it was going to be 500. I got dental treatment planned, so it was trying to do what I can. So in a previous video, I had a custom made lid, and that's gone well as well. That's on there, and do my thing with it. It's something about nature's own filtration, that filtration of water happens in nature, like a cleaning of water by natural selection. You know, it's just a side effect of what happens biologically, produces relatively cleaner water than it would be otherwise without these certain things going on. Of course, you could add in a mechanical filter to clean things up, but there's multiple different ways. There's never just one way in which water tends to get cleaner. And for this ecosystem, there's going to be multiple things going on that end up with a side effect of cleaning things up anyway. So over the weeks, it's been full of water. I did several changes because I was getting rid of tannins, right? And eventually, once the tannins disappeared, I put the snails from the large jar into enclosure. Snails, these are ram's horn snails, which eat dead matter, rotten matter, biofilms. What is a biofilm? A biofilm is not algae. It's really bacteria and other things like that form together and create like a film, right? And that can form actually in the water column, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be on surfaces as well. So it's suspended. And as it forms and gathers and arranges, it gains more weight. So that can form at the surface tension and then come down a bit. It gathers weight and it comes down. As it's coming down, it's like a network that will collect other things in the water column as it keeps going down. Then because it's coming down and collecting things, you're gonna get what's left behind is clearer water than the rest of the water column where it's coming down. That's happening. Fascinating. It's fascinating to see. One of the snails, this always cracks me up. This water has this surface tension, you know, and one of the snails are underneath the surface tension, going along as if they're on a solid object, but they're using surface tension snail going along. And you know, I don't know if you can see that properly or what I'm describing, but there he is, just underneath the surface tension, traveling along upside down. But look at this, what I've just described. See that happening? You see that clearer a bit? Much clearer. And there's this cloudier bit. These biofilms. This is not like a film. I could disturb the water and all that. It would just move around like it's dust in the water. But it will gather under its own weight. Slowly over the days move down, leaving behind much clearer water. And the snails will be moving around, eating gross biofilm off the sides of the vase before we know it. At some point, very super clear. One of the things to get it super clear though, crushed gravel, crushed lava rock, that 2 gravel size layer will go behind the initial front layer that you've seen before. You have larger lava rock, crushed lava rock layer will go underneath. Behind that, at the front of that, this sand is more like a sandy front bit, is more like a display area. And maybe I'll get some like rotting dried leaves and put them in, and biologically that'll rot down, creating beneficial bacteria that can break things down from the leaves for food. For the breakdown causes it, it's now food for the plants. So gravel, lava rock gravel, some biological layer, then fluval stratum. This stuff. It has it's very mineral rich. It actually, I don't want to give you a science lesson, not in this video anyway, on pH. Other than it makes the water slightly acidic. This stuff also buffers the water, stopping too much an extremity in fluctuations between slightly acidic water to less acidic to harder water, different water types, right? And it's a type because of what's in it, like dissolved solids and so on. That's another term, TDS. If you hear TDS, is total dissolved solids, which is another sciencey kind of thing to look into if you want to. Initially, I'm interested in the biology of the water before the occupants go in anyway, and the shrimp, the fish, I'm getting all prefer water that's slightly acidic. This will make it slightly acidic. I'll be putting in Daphnia, kind of like a water flea thing. Different names for it. You can have a Daphnia culture, just keep going, turning over in your enclosure, and that will be a constant supply of food for your fish when they come out and about and they get a bit unlucky, and they will hide, as well as break down things that are growing. Those things are growing, like biofilms, algae, and they're growing because what's feeding it is waste from the fish. Snails eat and then produce waste. It's all a cycle. You're going to lose some energy in this cycle a little bit, like different things, evaporation of water. You lost energy there, so you add water in that's been standing. The whole cycle produces certain gases, and the gases escape because it's from other things that turned into those gases, like nitrates, ammonia. Plants will feed on the ammonia. As I've said before, I've gone into detail on some of the how all that works, that cycle before, but that's interesting. When I saw that, I come home and thought, what's that clear bit? And I looked, and the camera doesn't necessarily pick it out too well, but that cloudy bit, if you look on top of that, through the enclosure, there's like kind of like bumpy maintenance range, if you will, of the whiter biofilms. And it's not a thick film in there. Again, if you disturb the water, all that just be like a milky, like adding milk in tea. It just cloud will move about, but it's gaining. It's accumulating, and bits will fall down, adding more weight, and it will eventually exponentially come down through the water. That's the I think anyway. It's one of the, you can observe that and see how that goes. Maybe take staged photos of where it's coming down, because I think it will accumulate. It kind of speed up its traveling down a little bit. Yeah, you got that kind of like all that is a disc shape in it, but it's bumped up near the top of the driftwood, coming down and around. Pretty cool. I like that effect. It's just like an effect of what's going on biologically. And it looks a little bit cloudy in terms, not the water cloud. Yes, the water's slightly cloudy, In terms of the sides, inside of the vase, there's stuff growing. The snails will eat this up anyway, but you know, it's clear. But then coming down, this is all a little bit cloudy. But there's the display front. I got the lid on as well. That's a success because it's a clear lid. I got all the light coming down through anyway, and it will help reduce evaporation a little bit. Not entirely, because there's holes on there deliberately anyway for piping and gases exchange anyway. You don't want it to be sealed. You're asking for trouble if you're doing that. Don't do that unless it's a very different type of system that's all enclosed and recycling. We can't really do that with occupants like fish and shrimp, because toxins will build up and they have an early life. They die early. All right, I do hope perhaps to breed the red cherry shrimp that are going to come in with this. It's all a very interesting journey for me, because I keep learning different things. Just go on YouTube and look at what people are doing. There's amazing plethora of information out there, and it was MJ Aquascaping that inspired me to get a vase enclosure. But again, aquascaping is the visual appeal side to it, but the aquascaping is also designed in a way that the biological side of it can be taken care of. So visually appealing. A lot of people are just doing the biological side, don't really care much for the look, you know, the anything too fancy. And you know, but there's a huge amount of information on that biological, that cycle, and all that cycle, that breaking down of toxins and that are actually nutrients for other things and food for your plants, but toxic to your fish. All of that happens in a mechanical filter, and you know, aquarium having its filter, right? But this is not how I'm going to be doing it. I don't have a mechanical filter for this. It's a filterless enclosure in terms of technological filter, but definitely a very filtered system if the biology is tweaked and set just right. Now, that some things can throw that off quite easily if you're not too careful. So I'll be learning as I go different things about this. There's many other things to come for once this is more established, and it will be expanded a little bit, not on a massive scale, but you know, I try not to get stupid on it. But thanks for watching anyway. Take care, and I'll look forward to doing the next video. Cheers. Bye.